There is a haunting experiment that reveals more about your relationship with your dog than a decade of belly rubs ever could. Picture a room where your dog is faced with a stranger offering high-value steak and you standing empty-handed on the other side. Most people think they know the outcome, but the reality involves a biological tether that we are only just beginning to map. If you have ever felt that sting of jealousy when your dog chooses a guest's lap over yours, you need to understand that your dog isn't judging your character. They are reading your frequency. Welcome to the invisible architecture of canine devotion. For years, we operated under the can opener theory, the idea that dogs are simply furry opportunists who bond with whoever controls the resources. It's a cynical view that suggests love is just a calculation of calories, but neuroscience is currently dismantling that myth in a way that is both beautiful and slightly terrifying. When a dog chooses their person, they aren't looking for a provider, they are looking for a mirror. Recent studies into heart rate variability have shown that within minutes of being in the same room, a dog's cardiac rhythm begins to synchronize with their preferred human. They aren't just watching you, they are literally vibrating at your speed. This is why the most affectionate person in the house isn't always the favorite. Dogs are fluency machines. They gravitate toward the most predictable nervous system. If you are the person who provides a steady, readable emotional climate, you become their secure base. In developmental psychology, a secure base is a figure whose mere presence lowers the cortisol levels in the brain, effectively turning off the alarm system. Researchers in Vienna proved this by giving dogs complex puzzles to solve. When their primary person was present, the dogs became biological daredevils, trying new strategies and persisting through failure. The moment that person left, even if a friendly stranger stayed to help, the dog's cognitive flexibility collapsed. The stranger was a resource, but the owner was an enabler of courage. This leads us to a question that might make you uncomfortable. Is your dog's love a learned behavior, or is it hard-coded into their DNA? To answer that, we have to look at the ancient gaze. When you and your dog lock eyes, something happens that doesn't occur anywhere else in the animal kingdom. A massive surge of oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds a human mother to her infant, floods both of your systems simultaneously. It is a biological feedback loop that dogs essentially hacked during their evolution from wolves. In controlled tests, hand-reared wolves, despite being raised with love, do not sustain eye contact and do not trigger this oxytocin spike. Dogs didn't just learn to live with us. They evolved a specialized chemical bridge to inhabit our emotional world. This was famously visualized by neuroscientist Gregory Burns, who trained dogs to lie perfectly still in fMRI scanners to watch their brains light up in real time. He found that for the majority of dogs, the sound of their owner's voice praising them activated the caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, even more intensely than the smell of food. To a dog, your social approval isn't just nice. It is a neurological high that outperforms a piece of chicken. But what about the second favorites? If you're the one doing the heavy lifting, the walks, the vet visits, the expensive kibble, and your dog still sprints to your partner who does half the work, it feels like a betrayal. But here is the professional insight. You haven't failed. You might actually be the functional anchor, while the other person is the novelty peak. Sometimes, a dog bonds with a specific person during their first 6 months, the critical socialization window, and that imprint becomes a foundational permanent file. However, the brain is plastic. You can shift this bond not by giving more treats, but by becoming more legible. Lower your vocal pitch, make your movements more rhythmic, and focus on co-regulation, the art of staying calm when they are anxious. You are not competing for their love. You are training their nervous system to trust your signal. This bond isn't a metaphor. It's a physical map drawn in dopamine and oxytocin across 15,000 years of shared history. They don't know your job title or your bank balance, but they know the exact scent of your adrenaline and the specific cadence of your breath before you speak. They carry a silhouette of your soul in their prefrontal cortex, I want to hear about your hidden moments. Tell me in the comments 2 specific things. First, what was the exact moment you realized you were or weren't the chosen person? And second, what is the one weird, non-obvious thing your dog does that proves they've memorized your rhythm? I read every single story. We are peeling back the layers of the most successful cross-species partnership in history, and the truth is always deeper than we imagine. This is Mr. Hidden Mind, reminding you that while we look at their behavior, they are busy reading our minds. I'll see you in the next deep dive.